Guys, I'm back. I don't know if you guys missed me or whatever, but for me it has been a while since I sat down to film. I literally missed, I think, one day in my rotation. This is going to be going up very late Monday evening, so I'm still hitting that Monday-Thursday schedule. Just missed one Thursday, but it has been some time since I've sat down and filmed. It was my birthday 2 weeks ago. I was kind of ahead with filming. Now I'm behind, but now it's summer, so I technically have more free time, but I'm teaching for summer school. So for the beginning start of the summer season, it will still be a little hectic, but I will have some free time and I still have off Fridays and whatnot. So I'm gonna pre-film and then be on it again and whatever. So you can still come here and expect it Mondays and Thursdays. I was a little bit off my game. So today I'm filming Should Christians Go for Mental Health Counseling? And this is something that's very relevant because I just started counseling again today after not going for a couple of years. I'm going to be drinking water. And I kind of wanted to share my mental health journey with you guys on this channel because there are a lot of things I don't tell people, and I think it's important for us to be transparent and vulnerable about things that we're going through. But yeah, I kind of took a deep breath in because it's a lot. But I've just been feeling like very encouraged by a lot of people who watch these videos. I don't know, I feel like it's really easy to compare yourself to other people and you see your view counts like not even in like the hundreds, you know, it's like in the dozens, and mentally I think, oh, that means like my 2 or 3 friends are watching it like 10 times or whatever. But I don't know, I've recently come to the realization that no, that means that like 80 people have been watching this video, which is kind of crazy and exciting, and I've been being encouraged through friends of friends who watch these videos, and I love it. And yeah, it kind of reminds me of, I'm getting awkward, it reminds me of the scripture that basically tells us to like build each other up and encourage each other. So thank you to people who are encouraging to me. And I'm always like really awkward in person. Well, okay, I hate saying that. I think I'm a socially intelligent person who has awkward moments. I actually thought about that ahead of time. So yeah, I can have awkward moments. So I love when people tell me they watch my videos. I may be awkward at first because I'm surprised or whatever. I've definitely like been awkward about it, but I love it, just so you know. I just can have awkward moments. So yeah, this is so awkward. Okay, so I'm making this video right now because I want to talk about mental health and my mental health journey. And I went for counseling back when I was in college. I think I was my junior year of college. I can't even calculate, 21 years old or so. And I was struggling with depression, or like not depression, but because I was never like clinically diagnosed, but I was like really dealing with sadness. And there were times where like I did not want to live, and that feels like very vulnerable to put that out there, but I don't think I'm the only person who's felt that way. And I think if anything, part of the reason why I feel like I'm almost having to like justify it, but like that's just really what it was. There's no like justification for it. That's just how I thought, and something that I dealt with, and like not feeling good enough or not feeling like any sense of hope. But I really overcame that, like by the grace of God, like I really overcame that. And I think a lot of it was I was saying yes to a lot of things that were just too much for me mentally. I'm a human being and I can't do everything, and I wasn't realizing that. So mental health counseling helped a lot because I wouldn't even be aware of like some of the pains I was experiencing in my life, and then I would go and I would talk for an hour, and at the end of the session I'd be crying and I didn't even realize like I was upset. But that was like a very different type of mental health thing that I was dealing with. And I, post-college, started to deal with a lot of anxiety. And I never talk about it in a video because it felt too vulnerable for me to say it. But I started finally seeing a counselor again to deal with it. And let me tell you, it is so hard to find a counselor. I was thinking in my head that if I wasn't someone who was like high functioning and someone who wasn't like doing, I go to my job, I do my things, I'm able to basically be a normal person in society, but I was thinking, man, if I was someone who was like farther down along or not happy or like not able to do something, would I have been able to get help? Because it was literally so hard for me to be able to get a counselor. And I finally found one. I'm doing a payment program thing right now because I'm actually through my parents' insurance. It's not the best for mental health counseling. So I'm actually out of insurance, but I'm switching over to my employer's insurance, which is not as good of an insurance plan, but it's better for mental health. So around the time that my low payment option ends, I'll be starting the other one. And the thing is, even low payment counseling is expensive. It's $50 a session, and that's like as cheap as you go. And I've looked at other programs, and it's like based on my income, I make around like $64,000 a year as a teacher, I'll still have to pay $60 as a minimum. Or there's another program through another college, and I think the lowest I saw was $30. But they have a really long waiting list, and I really wanted to get started, especially with a Christian counselor. So I ended up starting right now with a Christian counselor. So it was important for me to have that. It wasn't like I was not going to go for counseling if I didn't have it, but it kind of sweetened the deal for me. And I'm already seeing the benefits of going for Christian counseling versus the traditional counseling. And if you can't already tell, I am for counseling, and I think Christians should go for counseling. I think if you're going through something, that you should get help. And I just think back to when I was in college, my mom was really afraid of me going for counseling for the first time, and she really meant well, but I think it's a stigma of, your perfect children not being perfect, and you looking weak to the rest of the world, and you looking like you have a problem, But the thing is, we are human beings, and even through my first session, I've learned to be a little bit kinder to myself, because I can be really hard on myself when I don't act or I don't perform in a certain way. But acknowledging the fact that, man, I do get really anxious sometimes, and there are things that I can do to cope, that I wouldn't really even think to do before. Like, for example, one thing that my counselors recommended to me is, let's say sitting in a particular environment or being in a certain way makes me anxious. Sitting in a different seat, or telling people I get really anxious if I'm front and center, or if I'm in this highly visible place or whatever, because I specifically have anxiety about looking anxious, which is a very it's literally a mind warp, and it's awful. I can't even begin to tell you. And I'm saying this as someone who never was anxious. Well, I won't say I was never anxious, but I never had a problem with anxiety. I never really struggled with it. And then now I'm literally I'm going to a counselor for it. And it feels very vulnerable to say that, especially as someone who basically is going to counseling for anxiety about being anxiety specifically about how you literally the manifestation of how your anxiety looks like that's a very specific thing. And it's weird to kind of say that I'm saying, yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying. This is hard for me, but I want to post this, and I want to put this up because I know that I'm not alone, and I know that there are other people who are going through this, and other people who have overcome it and who will overcome it. And I don't think that there's enough of a dialogue about it. So I think Christians should go for counseling. I think Christians should seek help, because there's a lot of ways that our thoughts influence the ways that we perceive our environment, and there are psychological methods like cognitive behavior therapy that are meant to help you change the way that you think, and that's actually biblical. I think it's Proverbs 2 or 7, that our thoughts, based off how we think, we become like that. So if we can go seek our help from someone who is going to help us to change the way that we're thinking and to slowly improve and become better people, why not do that? I also realized that I thought that I was someone who was self-destructive, but apparently self-destructive is when you are self-harming or doing things like that. But I'm self-sabotaging. I'll do things that will stop me from being my ideal self. An example she gave me was let's say you like really like this guy, but then you like don't ask them out, or like you like avoid them or something because you are afraid of being rejected or whatever. And I think I'll do like the friendship equivalent of that. Like I'll really want to be friends with someone, but I'm intimidated by them, so I'll kind of ignore them or like not, you know, be as friendly as I know I can be. And that's really self-sabotage because you're afraid of, you know, what if I get that? Like what if I do become close friends with this person? And I look back at my childhood and how I needlessly caused like so many problems and how I went through a lot of pain, and a lot of it goes back to that. And I'm really excited for counseling because I don't want, my biggest fear in life is it's not like just getting through things. My biggest fear in life is mediocrity. I'm really afraid of just living a normal life because I don't think I was meant to do that, and I don't think many of you are meant to do that. And stop recording for a second. But if I had these preconceived notions about counseling or whatever, then I would not be able to be that person. And I realized for me, it's also like really sitting down and like kind of acknowledging like, who do I want to be? Who does God want me to be? Where do I see the trajectory of my life going? And reorienting myself from a place of despair and hopelessness to hope. And that feels really vulnerable to put up here as well, because there are times where I can feel kind of hopeless even though there are great things happening, and I want to choose hope. I want to choose what is better. So I think Christians should get counseling. I think that there's nothing wrong with admitting that you need help and you're not perfect. Your weakness is room for God to be glorified, because now every time I do something that is, you know, something that is like kind of scary or like would normally make me anxious, I know that I need God in that moment, and I know that I need to rest on Him and rely on Him, and that's just a way that God is glorified, you know? So if I have to go through this, that is what it is. Like ideally, I think in our lives we would just like it if we were perfect people and like built like robots, and we could just go through our lives unscathed and never feel nervous and never feel angry or vulnerable or never feel emotions. But we do feel emotions, and I think God gives it to us for a reason. So if I need to really rely on God and cast my burdens on Him in a moment instead of relying on myself, then to God be the glory and the honor, because of Him alone I'm able to do whatever it is I'm doing. I'm actually going to be starting a meditation series on here. I'm gonna link down below some meditation that I recently started using. It's scripture based, and I want to create that for you guys, where basically you have a chance to sit down and meditate and spend some time just hearing scripture and also some time alone with God. So you can expect that up this Thursday. And if you've never tried meditation before, there are a lot of cool apps. There's Calm, there's Headspace. There's also one cheaper one that I found via Quora. I don't like it as much, but you don't have to pay for meditation. There's also a lot of free meditation online. But this is a great practice of silencing your mind when you get all like hectic and frantic. And it is a skill to calm yourself. And another thing I'm learning too is like a lot of times we'll just say like, oh, I'm upset or I'm anxious or I'm whatever, and like never do anything to help yourself. But eating better, exercising, choosing to choose strong mental habits, all of those things are things that will help you become mentally stronger, and then you'll start to see the other things diminish. Like I notice that like when I'm not sleeping well, when I am ruminating on bad things, when I am doing things that I know that are not the best for me, I will feel like sadder or I'll struggle more mentally. So we're gonna try this meditation thing, and I think I have a cool voice, cool talking voice. Is that weird? Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I'm gonna read some scripture for you guys. I don't know, I'm doing this. Okay, hope you guys like it. And let me know if you like these types of videos. Are they weird? I feel very weird posting this, but I feel in my gut that I should, and that there are other people who would appreciate this, and that there's power in vulnerability. So let's hope I just don't look like a crazy person. I might look like a crazy person, but it's okay. I think someone will benefit from it.